A very good day, viewers. My name is Tambingosi Moisan. We welcome you on our podcast. Today we will be discussing one of the pressing issues in Eswatini. We will be discussing about the political landscape in Eswatini. We'll be talking about the nature and the culture of Eswatini. We'll be talking about the justice system in Eswatini. We'll be talking about business in Eswatini. And also we'll be talking about whether Eswatini really do need any form of liberation in Eswatini. And with me, I have Sandile Shongwe will be joining me. I am with him right now. Mr. Sandile, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm very much good also. Yes, I called you here so that we can talk about this thing. The first question probably that I could ask you is, in Eswatini for the past, I would say 55 years, Eswatini have been living under the rule of the king Mswati III. And what do you think what kind of a person do you think the king is?
Okay. If we are going to speak about this in terms of the king being a person of which he is, and I don't think we'll be tackling this correctly. My opinion would be, what kind of leader is he?
Okay.
The reason that I say that is because I would not want to, because I do not know his space personally. Mm-hmm. But as a leader, because he's my leader, as a citizen, then I would want to know his. I do know his space as a leader to me. I think also to tackle that, we'll have to go to as far as Gutsi. What is a leader?
Okay, that's a good question.
And not to say that I have it all figured out, but what I am saying happening in the country is no effect a quality of a very good leader.
Okay.
When you're a leader, one of the qualities, maybe not the utmost, but one of them is to empower people.
Okay.
Is to make people better.
All right.
Is to make a better environment for the people that you're leading. So what's happening here, since I am one of the people who are on the ground, excuse me, what you hear people say about a leader at the level of, on the ground level, that is exactly whom the leader is. Because what people say about the leader, I mean the ground level people, those that don't matter, those that have no influence, those that, the nobodies.
Okay.
Those are the people that will give you a true image of whom the leader is.
Oh, that's impressive.
So what I am saying is, we, inclusive of myself, are not seeing a good leader.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Shongwe. Probably just a follow-up question. Hey, do you think Eswatini need any form of liberation? Like, do you think Eswatini really need any form of liberation?
Definitely, they do. If you can date back 15, 20 years ago, I would say Swaziland was a thriving country. Not the best, but thriving to being the best. You speak of companies that went away, like Greenacre. They did road construction. I do not know. I do not have the facts of what made them to leave. But I would assume, with the leader that we have,
There was no business actually.
There was no business for them.
Okay.
There was nothing for them to gain.
Yeah,
there was nothing. There was no, like, to them it was only a matter of, hey, this is my land, and I'm saying you should do this. And if you don't do this, then you're gonna get this.
Get away.
Exactly. Just get away. Out you go.
Yes. On that note, I want to know, who is the real mafia in Swaziland? You know, we've seen in South Africa, we have a leader, Ramaphosa, and we had Jacob Zuma. All these presidents in South Africa, we all know, and we have the information that the Guptas, the Oppenheimers, were the real people behind the Ruperts. They were the people behind the stability of the country, actually, when it comes to economically, financially. Who do you think is the real mafia in Swaziland? Is it the people sponsoring the king, like Neil Rickenback, like Mr. Wayne? Or is the king himself ruling over those? Which is which? What your understanding on that?
I do not have the facts, but what I have is rumors.
Okay.
There's a guy from Zambia.
Okay, the Shakantu.
Shakantu, yeah. So they call him. I don't know if it's him or someone else.
Okay.
What happens is they say he is the one that's actually driving our leader in that.
Yeah, just on that, Maswati, you should know one thing. You literally do not have a Ministry of Natural Resources in Swaziland. The whole ministry is under Inyati, the whole ministry. So anything that involves the earth, anything that involves building, anything that involves anything, it's given to Inyati, and then Inyati will subcontract or do those. You literally do not have the ministry, because I heard the news that it was Shakantu who bought the Rolls Royce to the king in buying this ministry. Yes, yeah, but you can continue.
Yeah, just alluding to what you've said, we do not have any natural resource ministry. We have one person that's so interested in himself and what he can attain and what he can gain from anything that's there to gain. So, the reason why Eswatini would like to have democracy is not so because there's no corruption, that they want to get rid of corruption. But here's the thing, dude. What, in my opinion, what I think Eswatini want is that they want a distributed,
equal
distribution of wealth.
Exactly, that's powerful.
Because what's happening is one person is getting the wealth.
Okay.
Imagine a situation like this where someone that has access to the wealth that Eswatini has, someone in Lubombo, someone Manzini, say there's 8 people in one of those regions we have, and then different areas. I mean, if I become probably the Ministry of ICT, Natural Resource, Agriculture, I might do something for me that makes a cash cow in that ministry, that has relevance in that ministry. Probably I salvage a farm, and after salvaging a farm, then I farm and I make money, I sell to the government. And then there's someone else, I employ 50 people in the farm, maybe 40 people temporal, 10 permanents. And then there's someone else and Shiselweni that does the same thing. And there's someone else, Lubombo, that does the same thing. Okay. What we have is equal distribution, in the sense that I will employ people here and someone will employ people there and there and there and there and there and there.
Okay.
But what we have is one person.
Okay. Who has everything.
Who has everything. And the thing is, he does not distribute that to the people.
Yeah. Selfish.
My opinion is that there will always be corruption, in my opinion.
Okay.
It is the level of corruption that's a problem.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Take as much as you can.
Okay.
But give the people a chance to also chow.
Yes.
To also fill their stomachs. That is where the problem is. That's where the problem is with Eswatini. It's because the whole thing goes to one person. And there's nothing that the people have. Absolutely nothing. Speak of the education sector. When was the last time that what's it called? TSC employed people permanently. That's where the problem is.
Yeah. Yes. On that very good note, I am going to ask you, Mr. Shongwe, because let me just give you context. We had 3 MPs in Parliament, Bacete Mabuza, Wakaukau, and Tandeni. They were calling for an elected prime minister with executive powers, right? And Eswatini agreed with that voice, and they went to different constituencies delivering petitions. And in all those petitions, they requested for an elected prime minister. Where does this multi-party democracy comes? That's just my question. I just want to know whether really Eswatini need the multi-party democracy, or they were just given yes. Multi-party democracy. What really Eswatini need? Is it the elected prime minister or a multi-party democracy? What do you understand on that?
My opinion is Swazis have never had a voice ever since Swazis gained independence. So I would say they never had a voice until this era, because this era is a revolution. And you cannot change revolution. You can change a protest. You can counter a protest. Revolution is something you cannot stop.
Okay.
So I think Swazis have never had a voice for a very long time until this past event happened, where some people stood up and said, hey, this we're not going to stand for. No. Swazis need this. Okay. So in my opinion, it was the voice of the Swazis
for an elected president.
Quietly, because everyone is afraid of saying something that's against our current leader.
Okay.
Everyone is afraid. And yet, these people are people that have lived with the community. Remember, the Prime Minister, Similani, he used to do some show called Makhelwane Mbona Ngetendo. And he has been very close to the people. He knows the people. He knows what they want. Mabuza, Tandeni, those are people you do a background check. Those are people that they know the people that have been in the community. They've been nobodies. And yet they come and they say, this is what Swazis say. There is no written document, nor is there any form of petition whatsoever. But that is what Swazis want. They have been there and they know what everyone wants. And now they have the opportunity to say, hey, this is what Swazis want. They have surpassed the fear of that.
Okay.
If you say something that's against what the leader wants, you're out. They have surpassed that feeling. I mean that fear. And they stand their ground and say this is what Swazis wants.
But do you think they need an elected prime minister, constitutional monarchy, like in Morocco, like in United Kingdom, like in, I think Lesotho is still constitutional monarch, or they need a multi-party like in South Africa? We have also another system in the US where there are only three parties. There is the Democrats, then the Republicans, then we have the Liberals now. But those who are formally in the Constitution are the Democrats and Republicans. So what do you think Eswatini need? Do they need the elected prime minister or the multi-party?
Swazis do not need a multi-party kind of democracy. I say this because we're very few in number. It's about 1.23 million people. The way that I have seen these countries with a constitutional monarchy is that those are quite peaceful countries. Honestly, the monarchy system is very peaceful. Very peaceful. Look at the UK versus the US. Look at Morocco versus South Africa. Look at Lesotho versus South Africa. Peaceful country. Peaceful countries.
Don't you think they experience the same thing we experience in Swaziland? Because Swaziland is considered a peaceful country. However, we are not peaceful, really. People here are not peaceful. They're just being silenced. Don't you think they experience the same thing?
In all honesty, because I prefer honesty, I do not know. But that's something to consider, that they might also not be happy.
Okay.
However, my realization is that constitutional monarchs are more peaceful than democrats.
Okay, I understand.
There's more chaos in multi-party democracies. There's a lot of chaos.
Opinions. Everybody wants to be heard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because you know what's the thing? If we had a leader in Swaziland that appreciates the people, that is not as selfish as the current one, dude, would be happy.
Yeah, would be very much fun. Yeah.
Because we need just a person that's very considerate of the people, as much as they would say, I want to have that, but give to the people as well. Let the people live. Gives the people some space to breathe and say, the world is inflating, prices are inflating, but my country's fine. Well, I will acknowledge that we do have subsidized prices that the government does for us. Fuel and food amenities. Those are very subsidized for Swaziland. I mean, look, we got fuel outside. SA gets fuel outside, but our fuel is cheaper. Our food is cheaper. Applaud to the government for that. Good. But still, I have been earning the very same salary for the past 10 years. How do you explain that? That's the part that's stressing for Swazis. Look at Singapore.
Okay.
They have income tax of about 40%, but they do not pay for internet. All the roads are tarred. Good infrastructure, internet connection, everyone. I mean, those are the things. But here we're paying about 33%, almost close to 40%. None of those things are free. And don't tell me that when Africa and whatnot, those kind of concepts. No, dude. or paying so much tax, a lot of tax. 33% is a lot. Well, not all employees, but majority of them. You cannot be paying 33%, and we have roads, damaged roads, no drugs in the country. I'm not speaking of theory. I'm speaking of something practical that my relatives have been through. That you go to the hospital, there's no drugs. But those are basic things that are supposed to be there.
No.
But then what we hear is someone is chowing money.
With impunity. Cannot arrest him. I understand.
That's the part.
Yeah. So, yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Shongwe.